Wait, are we live? Yeah. Alright. What the fuck is up, you? I can't do it, okay. What's up guys, Bombgardener here, and today I'm going to be making a quick video. I made a video before on how to wash the bike, but it was actually like a terrible video, and I don't recommend you to wash your bike like that. So that's what we're going to be doing today, is making a video on how to wash your motorcycle. Alright guys, before I start off this video, I did want to talk about these pants that I'm wearing. They're going to be pants by Nick Boys Toys. They're actually riding pants that are a little bit more reinforced than your normal pair of jeans, and they're going to be flexible in all the right places. That's why I can crouch down like this and look freaking super sick next to my bike. Now with the pants, you're going to get a pair of knee pads, and you're also going to get a pair of hip pads. The hip pads have integrated inserts in the actual pants to put the hip pads in, and then there's little inserts right here to put the knee pads in. I'm going to wear them today to wash the bike. Usually, I'm not going to lie, I don't run the knee pads unless if I'm like strictly out trying to like stunt and practice on stunting. But you know, normal riding A to B, I usually don't wear the knee pads, but hey, everybody's got their own thing, you know. But today we're going to use the knee pads because I'm going to be on one knee a lot, trying to get this bike as clean as I possibly can. Another cool thing about these knee pads is, if you don't want to use them as knee pads, you can actually take them, and if you put them just right, you can actually put them in your shirt and you can become the next viral moto chick. So if you don't want to use the knee pads and you do want to get some viral hits on Instagram or TikTok, pop these babies in your shirt, baby. I promise you're going to get views, okay? But on a serious note, guys, these are super easy. You just open up that little pocket. You're going to slide them into the little integrated knee pad slot, and then you just put the cover over them, and boom, you got a knee pad. These are Nick Boy Toys riding pants. I highly suggest you to go give them a look. I'm not sponsored, I'm not affiliated. However, he did send me these pants for free, but he didn't expect a review. He didn't expect any, you know, positive feedback or anything like that. So this is all genuinely my honest opinion. But with that said, let's get into how to wash your motorcycle. All right, so first things first, this is what you're gonna need. You're gonna need all of this. This is just, I'm gonna use a fraction of this. This is for my cars and interior and all that. So you're not gonna need all of this, but I do enjoy using a lot of Chemical Guys stuff. So this is their Mr. Pink Super Sad Shampoo. And this is some good freaking stuff. We're gonna pour a little bit of that in there. You don't need too much. And then we just wanna fill that up with water. Let's kind of go over some of the other products I'm going to be using. So that was the Mr. Pink. We're going to use Chemical Guys Diablo Wheel Cleaner. Really helps to get all that brake dust and just junk off of your wheels. Highly recommend this product. After we're done washing, we're going to use Chemical Guys Blazing Banana Spray Wax. It gives it a really nice shine. It makes the water bead up and not stick to your bike, and it's just an overall pretty good product. Now this is my little secret trick. You don't need one of these, but I like this drill when I have this little attachment. And basically you just pop this attachment in there, but you pop that little attachment in there, and then you can actually use this on the wheels of your bike. It makes cleaning your wheels so freaking easy. But if you don't have a drill and you don't want to spend the money on one, you could just get one of these. I also still use this whenever I wash the wheels, just because I like my wheels to look very, very bright and new. So definitely get one of these. And then I also use this little like paintbrush type brush. This is just for all the little nooks and crannies, the rear wheel axle, all the little bolts and whatnot. I like to try to get all the dust out of there. Whenever I wash my bike, I try to take time and really, you know, wash it nice. I like to have nice things, and I like to keep them nice, excluding the exhaust. But that's a story. That's from my crash. I almost died, so I kept the exhaust like that. I like that about it. It's a little story piece. It adds a little bit of character. But everything else I like to keep very nice. And it's like $400 to get a new one, and I don't want to spend $400. So Yoshimura, if you're watching this, just hit me up. Give me a new can, and I'll be extremely happy. Now guys, I wasn't joking whenever I said I'll use a lot of Chemical Guys. I even use a Chemical Guys bucket, and this bucket comes with this little plate thing right here, and basically this just helps the debris go through there, and it's not going to get back into your rag. So I put that in and push it all the way down to the bottom and get that nice in there. Now for washing, I just use microfiber cloths, and I color code mine. So green's for washing, yellow's for drying. Throw a green one in there, get it nice and soaked, and we are about ready to start washing this bike. Now what I do whenever I'm washing my bike, I take this Diablo Wheel Cleaner, and I'll actually just go ahead and spray it on all the wheels. That's usually the first piece of the bike that I wash, because it's going to be the nastiest, and whenever I use that wheel brush, it shoots up a bunch of debris, and I don't want to get it all on the freshly clean bike. So to start off the wash, we're going to use this Diablo and spray it on these wheels. And I'm definitely not stingy with it. I spray the crap out of these wheels because these wheels are disgusting. Now I don't normally let that stuff sit I just give it enough time for me to go and get my wash bucket, set up my screwdriver, little attachment tool, and then I get into it. So we'll go ahead and get straight into scrubbing those. Now I know that we've already sprayed the Diablo on there, but I'm still going to use some of the soap from this water bucket right here. And I'm going to start with the manual brush and just get as much as I possibly can with it, because it's going to make the shine and the clean be a lot better using this first and getting what you can, and then using your little hack tool that I have, the little screwdriver. Once you feel you've got that wheel sufficiently from that side, I'll move on to the next wheel. And then, very important, make sure you go to the other side of the bike and get the wheels from the other side. Alright guys, next step. This is extremely freaking important. I see so many people not do this, and it just like absolutely irks me. Some of you may think, yeah, alright, we're done with the wheels, we've cleaned the wheels. Absolutely not. There is a huge section that you cannot reach on your wheels unless if you roll your bike back. So next step, just roll your bike back a little bit and then go over the wheels again. So I roll it back to where I can see it cut off. So if you look, there's watermarks here, there's nothing there, so I know that that has not been touched yet, and it'll be the same for the back. So we just go back over, and I even hit up the spots that I know that I've already hit, because like I said, I like my wheels to be very clean. So normally this is this part where I use the drill, but the drill is actually dead now. It died on me, I forgot to charge it, so we're not going to be able to use the drill brush on the wheels. I feel like I got it pretty good with the manual brush. However, I know the drill brush would have did a lot better, but it's fine, things happen. These things happen. Next part to the madness of washing your bike is you just want to rinse off everything you just did for the wheels. So that's what we're going to do now. I usually just use a nice light shower setting. I don't really need the high pressure because I should be loosening up the debris, not the water. I don't know, that's my thought behind it. Everybody has their own way and process of doing it. This is just my way. And as you can see, the wheels did turn out all right, even just using the manual brush. So it just goes to show you don't need that power drill. However, it does make life a little bit easier sometimes, especially whenever you get those tough spots that just don't want to come out. Next step. So if you guys remember, I put this green rag in here. We're going to use this microfiber and just wipe down the gloss parts of the bike. I like to wipe down the gloss first and get those done just so I can, I like to separate the bike into pieces so that I know that I don't miss any spots. So we're going to use this cloth on the front end. We're going to get it nice and clean, and then we're going to spray it off. So we just take this, pop it on the front, get it as good as we can. We don't want to put too much pressure because we don't want to risk squirrels, but we do want to at least, you know, scrub a little bit. And this is usually going to be the nastiest part of the bike when it comes to bugs. So I like to try to get this spot as good as I can. Don't forget your mirrors. I forget my mirrors all the time. Don't forget them. You want them to look clean too. Throw those bad babies back out. And after you've played with it a little bit, it should be done and you are good to rinse it off. I rinse off every part after I wash it because usually I wash bikes whenever it's a lot hotter and more sunny. Right now is like the perfect time to wash a bike because you're not going to get sunspots, but you do have to race against time to beat the nighttime. Like I said, I follow the rule of getting the gloss parts first, so I'm going to move on to the tank. And again, I'm not applying a lot of pressure. I'm just kind of just guiding the microfiber all over the bike. When we get to the other side, do the exact same thing. And with this one, I'll go ahead and get the inside of my windscreen. Best way to do this is to kind of just jumble it up, keep your fingers further behind, and then kind of just push that rag up in there to get those spots that you can't really reach. I'll clean off my heads-up display, clean my triple tree mount. I even clean off my clutch levers, my clip-ons, my brake lever. I try to clean everything that I can reach. Boom. Now we're ready to rinse it off. Don't be scared to get this wet. Bikes are designed to be able to run in the rain. I wouldn't sit there and put it on full and just spray it in there. But if you're just casually rinsing like this, you should run into zero issues. All right, next up, we're going to get this back glossy part, the rear fairings here. And this is probably the easiest part. Now, one thing I do want to note is I want to wait before I go up here and scrub all this up under here. Because if you do it now, you're going to get a lot of debris on this rag, and the potential for swirl marks is going to be insane. So that's another reason why I do all the gloss first, so I don't get a lot of debris on the rag. We'll rinse this off. And speaking more on that, usually I wait until like the very last to get, you know, up under the actual bike right here in the rear, because that back tire kicks up so much rocks, debris, sand, everything, and you just don't want that on your rag. Next up in this washing fiasco is we're we're just going to take the rag and now we're going to do all the non-gloss fairings and get those nice and cleaned. This part, you want to be careful if you have stickers on your bike to not apply too much pressure on your stickers, because the microfiber will kind of break off and get stuck on them, and it's a pain to get it out. I'll even move to this part of the bike, but I'm still not going to get the bottom of the bike or any of the really dirty parts. So now that you've got most of the gloss, the outside plastic, it's time to move into some of the dirtier areas of the bike. First one I like to tackle is this front fairing right here. And I've noticed on the R7, if you get this nice and clean, it really just adds a nice pop to the bike. We're gonna move on there and go back to your swing arm. I'll go ahead and get the exhaust just because it's looking at me real nasty and dirty. We are almost completely done with washing the bike. However, like I said, we saved this part for very last because there's just so much nasty stuff that gets collected up under there. We get that nice and good, and now we're ready to spray off the bike almost for the final time. Guys, don't forget, like I almost did, make sure you get this bottom little heat shield on your bike and make it look nice and clean. And another spot that most people always forget, and I forget it sometimes, is your seat, because your seat does get dirty. All right, last thing we need to do is we take this little detail brush and we just try to get some of the big gaps that can trap a lot of debris and make the bike overall look bad. So I'll get spots like this, I'll get in there as much as I can, try to break up as much of that debris as I can. We'll get in there, we'll try to scrub that. Make sure you get one with a plastic edge so whenever you're banging it up, it's not going to damage your bike. We'll try to get that opening as good as we can. Just really just, I don't like sit there and get every screw as particular as I can. It's mainly just for these spots that have a lot of texture to them and a lot of rigid details that I want to at least hover it over so that the brush can get inside of it and clean it better than what that microfiber is going to do. Especially these lower spots, notorious for collecting a lot of debris and a lot of dirt. All right, that was our final wash. This is going to be our final rinse of the bike, and your bike is now officially washed. But hang on, we are not entirely done with the bike yet. We still have 2 more vital steps in washing your bike so that you get the greatest look after putting in all that effort of washing your bike. So what I'll usually do after finishing that final rinse is I'll let it sit for about 2 to 3 minutes to let a little bit of the water get absorbed with the sun, evaporate and whatnot. However, we are totally fighting daylight right now, so we're just gonna try to go straight into drying this bike. So literally all I use to dry a bike is just a regular old microfiber cloth. It's always worked out great for me. Like I said, I color code most of my things, so yellow is dry for me. This little black mark is just whenever I dry around the greasy parts. But I'll start at the front, and don't worry, it's gonna look really streaky whenever you first start drying it. That's totally fine and normal. It's gonna clear up a lot better as you leave it alone and the water evaporates, and you're gonna go over it a second time after you get this initial dry done. So the front's practically done. Now don't forget, these hard to reach areas are gonna have tons of water trapped up in them, so like your headlight, you wanna get up in there and under the bike so it doesn't drip. And then I'll just move on with the flow of the bike really whenever I'm drying. It's a super easy process. Next up, I like to get the windscreen here just because it's the most wet. Then we just follow. We're gonna kind of keep that rule of whenever we're washing it, start with all the gloss first, because even if you wash it the best you possibly can, there's still more than likely going to be some debris on the bike. And like I said, you don't want to get that on the glossy part of your bike, especially. It's going to mess that up, but you don't really want to get it on any part of your bike. After I get all the clear plastics, and you're going to see little streak marks, like I said, don't worry about them. They're going to evaporate and you're not going to see them anymore. We go ahead and go to the not so glossy plastics of the bike, and we want to dry in like a straight line. I don't really do a swirl technique whenever I'm drying. I like to do a straight line. It's always worked out best for me, and I never really see any swirls. So we've got most of it dry. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take this rag and I'm going to continue to dry the bike until I get it just about as dry as I possibly can. Okay, so once you get most of the bike dry, I like to wait very last to get my wheels, and then I actually dry my tires too, because whenever I dry my tires, I'm going to scrub it a little bit, and I feel like it cleans them maybe a tiny bit, but that's what we're going to go ahead and do now. These are the moments that I desperately wish I had a garage. It would be so nice. All right, guys, we've got it just about as dry as we possibly can get. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to continue working at it, get it as little dry as I possibly can. And then we're gonna come back in the daytime in the morning, and we're gonna apply that banana wax from Chemical Guys. All right, guys, it's the next day. We got a little bit more sunlight, so you know what that means. It's time to get some of this Blazing Banana spray wax on this bike. You guys can see the wash came out pretty good. The wheels came out decent. There's a few marks on the wheels that I wish I could have gotten better. If my little drill would have been charged, and we would have been fantastic. But let's go and use some of this banana wax real quick. So I like to start on the front, and let's make sure it's open. There we go. I like to start on the front. I'll open up my mirrors, and I'm just gonna give some light sprays. It's gonna go everywhere, that's fine. You're gonna wipe those spots anyways. And then I just take my microfiber cloth and I'm just going to go, I like to go straight lines whenever I'm doing this at first, and then I'll flip it to the dry side and I really just focus on buffing that in there. This stuff is so freaking easy to apply. You don't have to sit there and buff it forever. It's literally pretty much as soon as you wipe it, it's good. And just like that, the front of the bike is wax coated now. And this stuff is so freaking easy to use. It's not even funny, man. And now we just move on down and we just hit all the gloss with this. And what's really cool is if you do end up getting a few of those little water spots, this will also kind of act as like a quick detailer, I guess you could say. And it's going to get rid of those water spots for you. So we rub it in, and we get to a dry side of that microfiber. Rub it just a little bit more in. Again, not applying a lot of pressure, just like we did whenever we were washing the bike. And she's coated. I'm telling you, man, this is some of the easiest stuff to use. And it'll give you a nice layer of wax. Don't forget your back end over here. All right, and now you have a layer of wax on your clear coat, on your gloss, and you can tell, I mean, that shines, you know. Yeah, it looks really good. I'm not going to do the other side just to save some time. I personally think the wash came out good. I think this is the best way you can wash your bike, especially getting that little detail brush. It's just nice to use that to really just hone in on those little small crevices that you're not going to get with the microfiber. It really makes the bike shine a little bit better. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you all watching this video. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.